What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the BrandonJaneauShow, Underdog to Success. This is a very special edition of Underdog to Success, of course. I'm doing my first thankful podcast interview of Underdog to Success. I'm with one of my mentors. He had me on his podcast just recently. I was like, I gotta get him on mine, just the way it was supposed to be. I couldn't have a thankful episode without my mentors. And of course, this man is one of my mentors, Jeremy from Life Unplugged. How you doing, my good sir?
What's up, Brandon? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm working, man. I'm on the road. I'm recording. I just finished up 2 episodes. I had one cancellation tonight, but so now you hit me up. So let's get it. But
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate you having me on, though. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, I had to get you on here. Like I said, this is the thankful episode. It's almost holiday season pretty much now that we're in November today. So, holiday season is literally upon us with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and a new year. I think I said on YouTube, on my video just last week, I was like, I want to do thankful episodes with people that have helped me in the podcast because you guys, if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't even be still doing this. So, all the advice you've given me, all the advice that, like people like Pat or JR from WV and Commonplace, like all you guys have given me so much advice. So I wanted to ask you, like, what made you want to be pretty much a podcast interviewer? Because that's pretty much your platform. That's pretty much what you do is podcast interviews with a lot of amazing podcasters. You give us maybe that first true look. You know what I'm saying? Some people might not have that opportunity, that platform, and you bring us on and you let us have conversations. I've been listening to a bunch of your episodes so far this year, this new season that you just started with, my sister Ashley from Flow Life Podcast, and of course, my guy Bet the House, So what made you want to be an interview podcast pretty much?
Well, when I first started out doing podcasting, the whole intent, it was during the pandemic, and the whole intent was really to get to know my family. So we were having these Zoom nights every Friday night. We would have a family Zoom night because we couldn't connect. We couldn't go, or we were all stuck in the house. So it was like, yo, let's get a Zoom going. We be drinking and talking and laughing and telling stories. And, what happened was the more that we talked, right, the more comfortable everybody got with each other, and then stuff started coming out. You know what I mean? So you start hearing these stories. This happened, that happened, and you wasn't there. You did this, and then you had a couple family. You always have one that drank too much. And you always have one that won't shut up. That's my brother. He won't shut up. He will keep going. He will argue until he just argue you to the ground. You're just like, man, forget it. I give up. Like he's just, so all these stuff. But on top of that, I started finding out that people had like skills, like we had singers and artists and writers and just people. I'm like, wow, these Zooms are nice. And obviously I had already started. So my son actually had the idea back in 2018 to do a sports podcast. And he actually did one episode. And I think I might actually release that episode. I'm going to have to go back and find it. I'll send it to you. It was actually pretty good. This is back in 2018. So he said he wanted to be a podcaster. So I bought him all the equipment, but he just lost interest in it real quick. Because and I know that it's a lot of work that goes into this. And especially when you're talking about doing a sports podcast, you got to be up on. Ain't no going out bowling, ain't no going out hanging out with your girl, none of that. You got to get the information, So we already had the equipment because he had it. So I was like, well, shoot, you know what? Now he already had kind of planted the seed. So I just kind of took it from there, and then it just turned into an interview platform. It just morphed.
Wow.
And really the way that it changed is when I started off doing the family interviews, I was like, it's a bigger platform here. It's a bigger lane here. I was not into social media before this. Like if you go to like my personal social media, my personal Instagram, which I got like 2 pictures posted with like 44 people that I follow. Like I ain't messed with social media like that. Like we ain't do Facebook, we ain't do Instagram, we ain't do none of that. Every now and then I might just go on just to see what's going on, and that was it. I just take it off my phone. But once I started understanding how social media works, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's some other stuff here, it's something else here. So I started connecting with people like you and Pat and everybody. And so I was like, well, I want to do more than just interview my family, because I was like, okay, I got these few family members that I want to interview, because some you ain't gonna interview. You know what I mean? Some you just don't have, some that just don't have nothing to talk about.
Right.
Okay, so I said, well, what's next? I've always had this mentality of what's next. Like, all right, whatever's going on, we need to figure out what's happening next. So I said, well, let me do the support series. And that's when I started doing the IG lives. Now, back a year ago, it's crazy that it's only a year ago, but if you can just think back a year ago, people wasn't really doing IG lives like that. Like now when you put on you look on your feed, it's like everybody got an IG live going on. But it was only a few people just really IG live wasn't really like a big thing. Like, I mean, it wasn't, people was going on, a celebrity would go on live and you would know about it, but like people doing whole podcast episodes, it wasn't really like a big thing. So I said, well, shoot, I'm gonna start interviewing people on IG live. And then a lot of people started doing it. So I kind of backed off of it, because again, I'm always in the what's next mentality. And I said, well, I'm not really getting credit for these interviews. These interviews was good interviews that I had, but I wasn't really getting no credit for them. So I said, forget it. I'm doing any interview I do is going to be on the platform so I can get credit for it. And then it just kind of grew. I just kind of used my natural ability to talk to people. I've always had that gift. That's the one thing that I have. I can talk my way in and out of anything. So I've always been able to, just and I'm really good at reading people and just kind of vibing off of people and so I just used what my natural ability is to just talk. As you can see, I like to talk. I done already went on too long.
That's good though. I need people to understand, because like I said, you're one of my mentors. You actually was one of the first people that started following me after I did my Instagram live with Pat. And exactly what you just said, a lot of people wasn't doing Instagram live. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna get interviewed on Instagram live. Okay, let me tell people, I guess. Because I didn't use it. I did not even use Instagram live. And it's just like, and now I'm like doing my podcast. I got a sports podcast, and I got a wrestling podcast. Like, I'm doing that on Instagram live until, my wrestling podcast, I start doing it on Zoom. Mm-hmm. But until then, I'm doing it on Instagram live, and I think that's just, I enjoy it. I think that was the thing. So anytime we start, doing something like a podcast like this in particular, it's hard to know if people are going to listen, watch, especially Instagram live. Like, you can tell everybody in the world, hey, Instagram live. It is just like, and then everybody be like, nah, I'm good. I got shit to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 2020 kind of made it easier for a lot of us to understand what's next in our life. Like, what is next? Because it's like, that's what really made me get into podcasting, because it really made me hone in. I was already doing it, but it was like, this is now, I have nothing else to do. I might as well do it. Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Right. And you said it's almost been a year since you started Life Unplugged. So yeah, what is that like, man? To almost be a year in.
Yeah. So actually I'm sorry, hold on one second. On November 1st. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let's go. On November 1st is when I actually had started my podcast. So it's funny, I was actually just doing an interview. One of the interviews that I did was with my cousin. And we were like, wow, that was a year ago. The first episode that I did was with my mom. My mom is the CEO of a charter school in Philadelphia, and she has a very, very, very interesting story. You know, it was very rough when we were growing up, right? We didn't have a lot of anything, and my mom was she was a single mom, and you know, we just didn't have anything. We didn't grow with our father in the house. We didn't have anything. You know what I mean? So in the early years, she worked regular job, just trying to support us. We were poor. But in later years, she went back to high school. She got her GED, and she ended up ultimately getting her master's degree. And then she was able to work her way up to being the CEO of the school. So she was actually my first episode that I ever did. She was the first episode that I ever did, and it still is by far the most listened to episode that I've done. So my first 2 episodes are like twice as many listens as all the rest of them, and I've had some good listens, you know. But yeah, a year ago, November 1st was actually 1 year. That was the day that I actually released my first episode. I'm actually going to celebrate it in December because it was just so much going on with the speed casting. And we just had the speed casting event tomorrow at not tomorrow, November 3rd. November 3rd, 7 o'clock. November 3rd, 7 o'clock. You make sure you on that the speed casting event. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey to be able to learn. I've learned so much, and I've learned to connect with people and to talk to people, and I've met so many more people than I would have never have met. Like I said, I wasn't on social media really before any of this. I never did social media, but I've met so many amazing people, and it's caused me to think outside the box, and it's caused me to think about different things that I can do, you know, creative things that I could do, and even it actually made me get back into some other things that I was doing even outside of podcasting. So it's actually been, you know, a pretty good experience over this last year. Even though I did take a little bit of a break because I just had a lot going on, but it was good. It still has been a good year.
Oh man, congratulations on the 1 year anniversary. And I want to also thank your son. Because if he didn't stop doing a podcast, man, and you was like, you know what, I bought all this goddamn equipment, might as well use it.
Right.
We probably would have a year. So thank your son for wanting to do a podcast, and you was just like being a papa, like, nah, man, I just bought all this shit, I'm about to use it at least.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, so it's been yeah, he definitely because I was always trying to push him to do stuff, right? He didn't want to go to college. And I was like, what do you want to do, man? Like, you got to do something. Like, what is it that you want to do? I don't care what it is. What do you want to do? You want a basketball trainer? I got him a basketball trainer. You want to be a podcaster? Okay, you'll be a podcaster. I don't care, but you got to do something. So I was always constantly like, what's the next thing that you want to do? And that's always been my mentality. Just what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What do we got to do next? You know?
That's so cool because it's like you was kind of like, I'll pay for it. Just tell me what you want to do.
That's it. I mean,
I'm with you. Whatever you want to do, I'm with you.
I end up paying for college anyway, right? So you know what I mean. That's what would end up happening. Now he ultimately didn't want to go to college, and that's, you know, his right. I tried to force him to go, and he's like, no, I don't want to go. Like I don't want to go. So I can't make him go. But I can try to support any other dream that he might have.
Yes. I saw y'all go to the Philly game too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so we did. So it's actually so that's one thing. That's one staple. If you go back, I do actually have an episode with my son. And so if you go back way back, season 1, I do have an episode with him. And that's one of the ways that we connect is through sports. Right. Sports has always been one of the ways that I connect with my son. So yeah, you saw me at the game with him on Saturday. He actually bought that ticket for me. You know, he's like, come on, I'll take you to the game. So it was kind of cool because I went back through and I found some old pictures. I mean, we've been going to games. I mean, like he was at his first Sixers game when he was like 6 years old, 5-6 years old. You know, I remember him. Say it again.
You say you got to see AI.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no. No, 15 years ago, he didn't see. No, he did not see AI. The Sixers were not good. The Sixers were not that good back then. But I remember him being about 5 or 6 years old, and he got on the Jumbotron. I just remember that. So I started going back looking through these pictures. I found all these pictures of him and I going to Sixers game, going to Eagles games. You know, that's like one of the things that we do. And interesting fact, we are, I think he was something like, we kept track. I think we've been in like 15 home Sixer games. And in every game that we've gone to together, they've won. Interesting fact.
And they won Saturday, so.
And they won. They blow them out. So every game. Now he's been to a lot more games, but the ones that we've been to together, they have won every game. So yeah, so it's that's one of the ways that him and I connect, and through sports. So we had a good time at the game, and I appreciate him for getting me those nosebleed seats.
Hey, look, we can't be sitting on the floor ever. Listen, as a son, we can't be sitting on the floor every damn day. Come on, Dad. Let me doing all that.
I'm like, dang, really? We gotta sit. I'm like, we sitting on the last row here? Dang, I ain't never give you no last row seats. We always sit at 200, row one. I'm looking for row one seat. Not no floor seats, but dang. But it was cool though, because we sat at half. It was like mid-court. So it was still a good experience just to be out with him, just hanging out. And we have a really good relationship. So yeah. I didn't grow up with my father. So because I didn't grow up with my father, I didn't know how to be a father. I was a young father, for one thing. I didn't know how to be a father. The only thing that I knew is that I wanted to give my kids what I didn't have. So that's how I learned to parent. I said, well, what did I not have? Okay. I was hungry sometimes. Okay, my kids are never going to be hungry. Sometimes I didn't have new sneakers. My kids are never going to school without new shoes on their feet. Okay, sometimes I didn't have money. My kids are never going to not have money. Now, I'm not rich, but my kids know that they can come to me if they need it. I got it. And if I don't got it, I'm going to find some way to get it. So that's the way that I learned. That was the only reference point that I had when I started out as a father, was just to give them what I didn't have. And then as you go on, you learn that there's other ways to parent, and you have to be, you have to be flexible and, be able to listen and, all those different things,
Definitely. And as a kid, that also, I went by my dad on weekends.
Okay.
And, but my dad and me, that's how I think sports. Like I love sports because of my dad. You know what I'm saying? So that I could totally understand why you and your son bond so heavy on sports, because that's the one thing that links me and my dad. Yeah, I totally understand that probably better than anybody. So,
that's one of the things that we go to sporting events and different. So there's a couple things that we do when it comes to sports. First of all, any state that we travel to, we play basketball in that state. Anywhere. That's like, it doesn't matter. We play basketball. Let me see if I can. We play basketball all up and down the East Coast: North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, New York, DC, Boston, Canada, up in Vancouver, Vegas, Arizona, California, in the Caribbean seas, Jamaica, like anywhere that we go, like that's our thing. We have to play basketball anywhere that we go. Also, we like to go to sporting events in other cities. So that's one of the things that we like to do. So we've gone to see the Eagles play in different places, Detroit. And I want to go to Dallas. We've been to the Colts Stadium. We've been to a bunch of different, what's that, Lucas Oil, went to Hall of Fame, and everything we do is like is sports related, because that's one of the ways that we connect is through sports. So so we're big fantasy football players, and we getting have our sports battles, and we play basketball. That's the other thing. We play a lot of basketball every week. Just about we get out on the court and we play. So So it's all related to the podcast, because really the podcast was initially about family. And I had to learn how to tell these stories. That's the one thing about podcasting. You have to learn how to tell these stories so that people will listen. And I appreciate everybody that's listening, by the way. But you have to learn how to tell these stories. And that's, interview podcast. I was like, I want to hear people tell their story. So I wanted to use my ability to ask questions and draw the people out so they can tell their amazing stories. Because I was like, my story is not really that amazing initially. Initially, I didn't think my story was that interesting. But then I found out after a year of podcasting that people connected with me for different reasons. I started off, I was a young father, right? There's some people that can relate to that. There's young people and older people that can relate to that. I was married very young. I've been married for 25 years. I've raised a son. I raised a daughter. So I started finding out that my story isn't that bad. And honestly, there are some people that do connect with the story, connect with my story. And I just tried to just be me. I just try to just be me. This is who I am. I'm silly. I get in the comment section on Instagram and on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, man. If y'all not following me on Twitter, y'all need to head over to Twitter and follow me right now. LifeUnplugged_1. Okay, LifeUnplugged_1 on Twitter. Make sure y'all go follow me, because we on the shenanigans over there. You can be more free over there.
Man, that is 25 years.
25 years married. We met in We met in 1990. We were 14 years old when we met. So we actually have known each other for 30 years. And so now we are married 25 years. That is accurate. We'll celebrate our 25th anniversary on March 8th of next year. And we're going to celebrate it because we have all the bumps and bruises and scars and scratches too.
I'm pretty sure you do. I'm pretty sure you do.
So trust me, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate because we earned it. We earned it.
That's I was talking to my mom about that just recently, because her and my stepdad are like going on like 23, 24 years together. And I was like, that shit don't last. Like, a lot of people get in these situations and they separate over some stupid shit. It don't even make sense to be broken up over. But to be 25 years in, it's like, I could have easily left 20 something years ago, but it's just like, this is my best friend. It goes past just relationship now. It's like, this is my best friend. Like, this is the only person I want to see every morning, go to sleep to every night. Like, that's respectable.
And sometimes you don't want to. I think it was Viola Davis just had a post out there recently that, marriage is really about, can you stay with this person when you don't like them? That's what marriage is about. Like, honestly, if people want to really know what marriage is can you stay with the person and you don't like them today? Right? Like, there's room, obviously there's love in a relationship, but there's room for hate. You make room for hate. It just happens. It's okay. Like, that's what marriage is. Because if you can stay with somebody when you don't like them and they don't like you, and then y'all love each other again, and you like, you know what? Okay. You know what I mean? And I understand that, nowadays a big word that people use is toxic. Toxic this, toxic that. No, that's just a relationship. That's just two people from two different walks of life trying to bring a life together. What I will say that my wife and I did, first of all, we started very young, and we started at a time when the generation before me, okay, they got married and they stayed married. Divorce, it's not that it didn't happen, because my grandmother was divorced, right? But she was married twice, okay? And both cases were extenuating situations that she got out of, abusive situations she had to get out of. But for the most part, most people stayed married in the 80s and 90s. Even if the marriage was bad, they taught you to get married. So I felt like at the time that I had a child in high school that I needed to go ahead and get married, that eventually I was going to have to marry this woman. So basically my plans to go run track at Penn State, they were done. You know, I had to leave those dreams behind because I had a child. That's what we were taught to do. So in getting married, divorce was not an option. We didn't even, that wasn't even in our vocabulary. And I think starting out like that, it created this thing for us that we're going to figure it out somehow. Now, my wife and I are unique. We are each other's best friend. I don't have best friends like homies. I got boys that I hang out with or whatever, go get a drink, but I'm her best friend and she's my best friend. She don't have female friends that she go kick it and hang out. You know, like that's her. Oh, that's my girl. I tell her everything. No, we tell you that we are each other's best friend. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, man. Like when you close that door, you lock that door, and you know, listen, the outside world is just you and that person. Can you be with that person when you don't like them sometimes? When they getting on your nerves? And I'm not talking about like you don't like them because they cheating on you or they abusing you or they doing you dirty. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like you don't like the way she chews. You know, you don't like the way she smelled today. You don't like her hairstyle. You just don't like her. You don't like her general attitude. You know, whatever it is. Like some days is like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it just be like that. But it worked the other way too, because half the time, you know, women. My wife always complained about the way I chew. I always complain about her turning the heat up too high. You know what I mean? We get on each other's nerves. That's what marriage is. You know, and you can just get over the hump. But I think that people take stuff so personally in marriage. Like they just think everything is directed at, like it's just a personal attack. It's not. It's just life. And if you can find a way to get over that hump, you know, it's sweet on the other side. Like, I mean, we joke a lot. I joke a lot. And I know you see like my comments and my posts and everything. You know what I mean? If you come over to Twitter, come kick it with us over on Twitter. You know, we get it popping over there. You know, I'm following on Twitter at @LifeUnplugged_1. Okay, we get it popping on Twitter. I'll be over there going crazy. But I joke around a lot. My wife knows my personality. Sometimes I get out of line. She smacks me in the head. You get your life together. Okay, my bad. But that's my personality, you know, and I'm silly. And, you know, I make a lot of jokes about relationships and it's just funny to me. But at the end of the day, I hope I never have to be single. Because I'm never going to find another woman like that. Like my wife, there ain't another one. They don't make them like her anymore. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
I totally agree. I can understand it. Because it's hard to find. Like, if you like, and I hate when people say they settle for somebody. You never settle for somebody that you generally love.
Exactly.
Like, if it's genuine, you never settle. It's like, no, I got what I've always wanted.
Exactly.
There's gonna be some times where I don't particularly like you, but it's just like that's what comes with life.
You know, that's
some days. Yeah, it's just like,
that's a really good point. You know, about whether or not you settle, right? And I think that social media has people thinking that they're settling because they always think that they could get something, because there's always a girl prettier than the next girl. That's going to be for the rest of eternity.
Yep.
Right. There's always going to be somebody that says that they do this better than the next. I mean, whatever. I don't know. People say all kinds of crazy stuff. But the thing about it is it's not about settling. Okay. It's about finding a person that fits your personality and you fit their personality. And guess what? You know, that what we think we need is not what we really need. And so you gotta, you know, you have to find someone who understands what you really need to be at peace. And if you can find that person, then listen, that person might not look like Halle Berry or Megan Thee Stallion or one of these IG models. She might not look like that, right? You know what I mean? I'm fortunate my wife is beautiful, but that doesn't mean that, you know, beauty, when you measure beauty, how are we measuring beauty? You know?
Yeah, to the naked eye, it's skin deep, but it's just way more. It's way more. And people don't understand that shit.
No, it's way more than that. It's way deeper than that. And you know, how people measure how people measure beauty, and you know, that's, oh, well, you settle for her because she was heavier. That's not settling if that woman takes care of you.
100.
That might be settling to somebody else, but you know that you don't have to have a settling mentality. Now, what I will say about people who settle, because there is a group of people who settle,
Yeah.
it is those who accept bad behavior and say, well, that's just who he is. That's just who she is. You know, you getting abused. Okay. And if you're struggling right now with abuse, head over to the Melanated Motherhood. You know, she has a lot of information for those who are in domestic abuse situations. The Melanated Motherhood, Katina Davis, she's a domestic abuse survivor herself, and she's trying to help women to get out of these situations. Head over to Goodbye Trauma. Shonda Renee is also a survivor of domestic violence, and she has a lot of stuff that she's doing to help women get out of domestic violence situations, up to and including creating new identities. So that's she. So if you're in those situations, we hope you can get out of it. But if you stay, then you are settling. You know what I mean? If you stay in a situation where you know somebody is cheating on you, doing you dirty, doing you wrong, then you probably are settling. So it's okay to want more and to want better for yourself, and to want somebody that's meets you equally, but you got to really know yourself before you get into a long-term relationship, which I didn't know myself when I got into mine.
but that's it. And when it comes to like finding somebody, to me, it's not settling. It's are we gonna grow together? I'm tired of like trying to bring you with me. Like, you gotta be ready to go with me too. I can't keep trying to check on you and see if you're ready to go. Like, we gotta do this shit together. It's not this ain't just no fucking I go first and then you follow. No, we both gonna be doing this together. Like, we both pushing this goddamn wagon. Ain't no.
Communication is key. And I think that I again, it's been 28 years since I dated. Like, I don't know. I ain't had to date a long time, so I don't know what's going on out here. But what I will say is I can only think of how I would approach it if I had to date right now. Communication is important. I think that far too many times, and I said this on my episode with Donnie C, is that far too many times people assume, okay, we had sex, we're in a relationship. Maybe that woman or that man don't think y'all in a relationship. Maybe they thought it was just a thing, like, oh, okay. And now you think y'all in a relationship and you upset. Maybe you assume that, a woman might assume that a man wants to be monogamous, but maybe he's like, I had no intention on being monogamous. So communication is key. You got to ask those questions. People don't want to ask those questions because they're scared they're going to turn somebody off. Like, hey, what are you looking for? Well, if she's honest and she says, well, I want to get married, then now she's might scare him off, because maybe that's okay if you scared him off. He ain't the one. He don't want to get married. Why you let him go? You want to find a guy that's like, well, what do you want? Well, I want to get married. Well, I want to get married too. Okay, cool. Now we just found a common ground. Now that grow together that you're talking about, it can happen.
There.
Yep.
Yes.
It can happen. It can happen.
Yeah, I feel that's where when you hear 25 years.
Yeah, 25.
That's growth. God damn it. That's what I meant by growth. Because that's 25 years of, like, I think I was thinking about this earlier, and I was just thinking about this. I was like, if you ain't contemplate killing a motherfucker in a relationship yet, you don't really love that person. It's like, you don't really love that person.
Yeah, man.
There's some days where you be like, I can get away with this shit if I really wanted to.
That's for real. And then the next day you'd be like, dang, I really love her so much.
Yeah, like, I need her.
She the apple of my eye, she everything, So yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes, man. But for me and my wife, we just decided that divorce was not an option.
That's beautiful.
And we went through a lot.
Because you see in this world right now that people have this idea that like they could have that mindset like divorce is not an option, but there's still no love there. They just like, I just don't want to leave this person because I might not find nobody else that puts up with my shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, might as well stay with you. But there's no love. There's no genuine respect anymore. There's no conversations, like you said. There's no real communication anymore. Because it's just like, I'm stuck with you. What am I gonna do? And that's when I also feel like that's settling too. Because it's just like, I'm stuck with you. I might as well just stay with your ass because I know nobody's gonna pull over my shit like you do. And that's it's just that. It's like, I don't, as 27-year-old man that I am, I don't ever want that. Like, that shit sounds very dumb and very stupid. It's like, I'd rather be by my goddamn self and figure shit out that way. Until I feel like it's something there for me. But until then, it's not coming. I'm cool with it. Like,
yeah, you're 27. What's the longest relationship you've been in?
Maybe a year, maybe. And that's cool because it's like, because that situation helped me become something way better, because they actually helped me be a podcaster. Like, and put my energy into it. Like, I might as well just do this shit now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I have way more to prove to myself. And again, it goes to what you said. You wasn't ready for marriage when you got married, but you had to grow into that person, that man that you are today. And that's kind of how I looked at it. It was like, okay, I'm not with anybody, so I might as well grow into the person that when I do find somebody, that's when I can grow with somebody and say, okay, this is how we're gonna move together. Right. It's not separate, it's together. Now, if you with it, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I agree, because I definitely I wasn't nowhere near ready to get married when I got believe that. I mean, you know, like listen, when I got married, I wasn't even old enough to drink at my wedding. Now, when I say that, I was already drinking. Believe that. I was drinking since I was 16. But I mean, as far as having people there, and you know, they're like, oh, people, you got to be 21 to go to the bar and all that. I wasn't old enough to even go to the bar and get my own drink at my own wedding.
Damn.
And you know, like I think about stuff like this. Like, I didn't get my driver's license until I was 22. So I was already married 2 years before I had my driver's license, a year and a half, something like that. Ain't that crazy?
That's
what I'm saying, you know, but I'm just saying, like, these are the kinds of things, like, when we talk about being prepared for marriage, we're talking about the basics. Like, this is what I tell my son, like, there's certain things that you need to do before you get locked in to being married, you know, like having a driver's license, having a car, having savings, maybe even having your own place. You know, you don't have to have your own place, but it's good to have your own place. You know, having a steady job, having your own savings. I'm like, when you don't have to rely on me for your livelihood, then you should think about having a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Then and only then do you think about having a girlfriend. But I mean, that's not realistic, because he had had girlfriends since he was 15 years old. But you know, and that's not, you know, obviously I'm just trying to give him the principle. Excuse me, the principle to think about. Yeah, that's it.
You're trying to be a dad. I understand that totally, because it's just like, if your life ain't together, you shouldn't be with somebody. like, that don't work.
Exactly. How you help them?
How you gonna be? How you gonna be telling somebody I got you when you ain't got you? Like,
exactly.
That shit could get really fucked up. Like, I got you. Hey, Dad, can I go?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. You know, I just try to, you know.
But yeah,
I just try to help them out.
You got to.
From my own experience, you know, because I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. You know, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. You know, I just try to put him up on game. You know,
definitely.
If he listen, he listen. If he don't, you know, he gonna learn either way.
Right.
you know?
Definitely. I'm looking forward to you and Pat doing this podcast, man.
Yeah.
I'm
So
so
yeah,
I'm so looking forward to this, man. I'm like, I know you're doing a speed podcast Wednesday. I'm definitely gonna be tuning into that before I do my sports podcast. But um, I'm so looking forward to y'all doing this podcast, man. Because y'all are two of my mentors. Like I said, without you guys, I probably wouldn't be still pushing myself. You guys and JR from WV and Commonplace, like I wouldn't be doing this still. You know, you guys have given me so much mentors, give me so much advice and so many just and it's simple advice. Just like keep going, man. You got it. Like you got
yeah,
something. And I think that that's the reason why I wanted you on here, especially all of you guys on there eventually, because I wanted to thank you guys for that. Because it's like you don't know if people are listening. You don't know if people are really gonna gravitate towards it. You don't know. So you're just really shooting in the dark. You don't know like this shit is gonna pop or not.
right.
But when you start to see people that are listening and mentors saying, "You got it, keep going, keep pushing. You're doing it great." And I think that even though I've started 2 years before, a year before you, I still feel like you're my mentor because without you giving me that advice, because you seem confident and I wasn't. That's why I call you my mentor because you seem confident. You seem like you knew what the hell you were doing, and that's why. And I was like, wow, I gotta gravitate towards that because he seems like he got it. He seemed like he figured this shit out
Yeah.
already. And he seemed like he cracked the Da Vinci Code. Like I'm trying to get to where he's at. He looked like he found the formula for Coca-Cola. Like
Yeah.
I need to get to where he's at
Yeah. Yeah,
with
I
this
appreciate
confidence of
that.
this podcast. It is just that. So I can't wait to see you and Pat do this podcast. And when is it coming? Like I know y'all are working on the timing. I know y'all working when it's on pod, but I'm looking forward to it because I gotta listen to this. I gotta
We
listen
build in anticipation. It's coming. He's
to
so I think Pat's working 2 jobs right now.
Ooh.
And we just haven't figured out the logistics of it. We have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of ideas to for the show, and it's going to be funny. It's going to be different than what you see me doing with Life Unplugged because I'll have a lot more to say. We won't really be interviewing too many people, so it'll be more of a fun type deal. But Pat is a popular guy, man.
It's funny as hell.
The people love.
It's funny as hell.
Dude, he's like 6'5", 6'6".
What?
Yes.
Dude, he looks so short. What the hell?
No,
Yo,
man. Pat is tall. He's
man,
6'5" or 6'6".
man, I bet not see Pat, and he's like a giant. Like I can't do it. I can't.
Pat is,
Don't
he's
hear
like
me.
6'5". He's taller than me. I'm 6'4". He's 6'5" or 6'6". Dude, he's
Oh,
tall. He's
that
a tall
shit will
guy.
be mind blowing. I'm not even gonna lie. That shit will be mind blowing. I'm like, when Pat does these videos, I'm like, hey, you look like me, he's my height.
Yeah, I think Pat is really a gangster. I think he really is. Like at nighttime, he's a gangster. He has to be. He just has this demeanor. Dude, he is the coolest dude, man. Like seriously. And I have to really shout out Pat because it's easy to just look at somebody's skin color and just be like, I'm just gonna go. That's a black thing, or that's a white thing. You know what? This guy does not care about that at all. Like when you talk about somebody that doesn't, he legitimately does not see color, race, or any of that stuff. Obviously, I mean, I met him. I'm just from my interact. Me and Pat talk all the time, like off of IG. Like, we're on the WhatsApp, FaceTiming each other, talking to each other, just getting to know each other because that's really how we're going to build the chemistry, for the podcast. But he's just one of these guys that, he shows love and support to all podcasters, and not everybody does that. That's just a fact. Not everybody is welcoming to other podcasters because they feel like they're going to steal their shine or they're going whatever. I don't know what the reasons are, but not everybody is accepting people are in their own lane. People got their own people. You know, this one's not cool enough, and okay, you don't have enough followers, and you know what I mean. Like, but really, we all doing the same thing, and all of our opinions are just that, opinions.
Yeah.
None of us are certified podcasters. I don't care, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, some of us been doing it longer than others, but really, we all just giving our opinion. And I don't care how off the wall our opinions are. It's our opinion. But you know, Pat, he's just shout out to him. I think that I think him and I have a good chemistry. You know, just back and forth and just understanding just the whole podcast the way it needs to go. And so there's a lot of logistics. To get back to what you were originally asking, it's going to happen in 2022 first quarter. I would say I'm hoping that he has a couple episodes. I'm hoping that we have a couple of episodes before he comes here. He's coming in April of 2022.
What?
So he'll be in the States. I mean, he's going to New York. He's coming to Philly. He's going to, I don't know if he's going to Miami. I know he's supposed to go to Vegas. He's going to be here for a few weeks. So, you know, when
I gotta get him to come to Houston. I gotta get him to come to Houston. You gotta come to Houston.
Yeah, I know,
so
man.
I gotta see this 6'5" shit. I gotta physically see him.
Oh man, I'm telling you, he's a tall guy.
I gotta see this shit. I gotta see this shit. I'm gonna be like, no fucking way.
Yeah, tall man. Pat is tall. Shout out to Pat, man. He's just he's just all around a good guy, man. He really is. He's just a good guy, man. Really, you know. And so I'm glad that that we're going to be able to do this podcast. I think it's really going to be good. You know, Ireland meets Philly, and it's just going to be. I think it's going to be cool. What can you expect from that podcast? We are going to continue with the interviews. There'll be funny interviews. I'm hoping that we can get some. We're gonna really get off the wall. Get some OnlyFans girls to come on or something. Do an interview.
Oh wow, that would be crazy. Oh wow.
We'll just have like that's the kind of fun stuff that we're gonna do. You know what I mean? We're gonna do that. You know, maybe get like a dude that used to do porn or something to come on and tell us about what it's like. You know, like we're just going to do some fun, outrageous, just funny sports and life in Ireland, life in Philly. And, and just, there's a big Irish community in the Philadelphia area. Yes. So, we're going to try to just, we have it's an opportunity. I think there's a potential for us to do very well.
Oh, you guys are going to kill it. You guys are going to kill it. I can tell you that now. You guys are going to kill it. The respect that y'all have from fellow podcasters, the energy that you guys give off, you guys are going to kill it. Like you said, you guys got amazing energy. Yeah. Because I remember when you guys did the Instagram, when y'all were interviewing each other. Yeah. I remember that. Like I remember being in that room and seeing the energy of everybody just trying to throw in questions and throwing, comments. And it was just like, that's what that is. It's just like, you guys give all that to us. So it's kind of like, damn. So yes, I'm here to tell you that podcast is going to be smoking hot. It's going crazy. Everybody's going to be listening to it, posting it. And, now the OnlyFans one, that might be the funniest damn one I might ever. That's going to be so goddamn funny.
I don't know. We go have fun with it because I'm going to continue to do Life Unplugged. But I just want it to be I want it to be a different brand. Like it's like it'll be it'll still be me, but it's gonna be Twitter me.
That could go so many places.
It'll be Twitter me. So many places. Not IG me. It'll be Twitter me.
Oh man.
I like having fun over on Twitter, but we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna get the social media popping, all the TikToks and Reels and Twitter and IG and everything. We're gonna get the website. We're gonna have merch. You got to see the logo. Oh man.
Oh man, I can't wait for the logo to come out. I'm watching. I'm looking at that. Oh man,
the logo is crazy. He's working on a logo now. I saw the template. I saw the template for it already.
Yeah.
The logo is going to be crazy. Everybody's going to be trying to buy it. It's fun. So next year.
Oh man, I know you guys doing the speed cast Wednesday. I saw like one of my people I'm really cool with, Meet the Tyler's podcast, gonna be on there. I'm looking forward to seeing them on there. They're an amazing podcast. I can't wait to see them pop off in January. They're gonna be amazing.
Yeah, speedcasting. The speedcasting event is a big deal. It was a birth in Pat's mind, and you know, he came to me with this idea. He was like, "Man, we should do like podcast speed dating." And I was like, "What?" Like, all right. He's like, "Yeah, like something like where like why can't we do like get all the podcasters together?"
That
So
sound like Pat.
yeah,
That sound like Pat.
I was like, yeah, like we should call it speed casting. He's like, oh, that's brilliant. I was like, let's do it.
Wow.
So to tell you the truth, right? This is an interesting inside fact, insider information. When we did the first one, we did it. It was just the trial run. That first one that we did, it was not supposed to be anything. We made one post about it.
Everybody jumped on.
And we picked it. We picked the people. Yep, we picked the people that we wanted to have, and it was amazing. The response that we got from people hung on there, stayed on, and we didn't even have a giveaway. But this year, this time we're doing $100 giveaway. So it was really not supposed to. It was just let's test it out and let's see what happens. And it was such a good response. We're like, we're gonna have to do it again. But this time we were like, we're gonna go for some bigger accounts. We're gonna try to get like some big accounts, but also, my roots are with the new podcasters. So I wanted to make sure that I brought on newer podcasters so that they can get some shine too. So Ashley, that's why Ashley's in the lineup. That's why Meet the Tylers on the lineup, because I didn't want it to just be where we turn it into this thing where we getting everybody that got 10,000 followers, 100,000 followers. That's that. Okay, they already got their shine. So let's try to get some other people some shine too. So we're gonna be. I hope to see you in the comment section, man.
I definitely will be there, man. They got some good new podcasts I've been listening to. Break Knock Life podcast. I think that's those guys' name. Savage Beauty podcast, like them. Like, yeah, they got some new ones, man. They definitely are coming. So I'm looking at them. I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to give them, you guys' name and let them come on there and do this, because I think they got some amazing takes, and I'm listening to them, and also the J Squad podcast and all of them. Like they got some amazing takes. They're young, they fresh, they coming into the game. I'm like, okay, I could definitely rally behind them.
It's definitely this the community is growing, and it's growing in a good way. We just got to stick with it, and we have to invest we have to continue to invest in our craft. We need to make sure that we are, giving good quality, delivering good quality. The content doesn't matter if the quality is bad. So we need to invest in our microphones, invest in, recording equipment.
I already made my Christmas present. I already know what I'm buying myself. A new microphone. I already know what I'm buying myself.
It's so important. It's so important because a good microphone and good recording will clean up the background noise, right? So, like I use the Rodecaster Pro with the Rode mic, and for the most part, it cuts out the background noise. Now it's not perfect, but it does a good job. In like a room like this, it's too big. And I actually forgot to close the window on all my interviews, so I'm hoping it ain't pick up too much background noise. But we have to invest. We have to invest. I mean, $100 for this mic. There's much cheaper versions, than this. This is a high quality, mic from Rode. I mean, it's still on the low end. I mean, you got some microphones that are like $400 or $500.
Oh, I was looking.
I'm
Yes,
like,
I
you
know.
better make me sound. You better make me sound like Michael Jackson or something. So it's just one of them things that I think that's the biggest, and I'm speaking primarily to our Black podcasters. Okay, we need to improve the quality of our production. So we have to invest. If you want to do this for real, we have to invest, we just got to improve on our quality.
Definitely. I'm gonna let you go. I know you done did like 7, 8, 9, 10 podcasts a day.
And I got 3 more tomorrow.
Before you go, I always do this, close out my shows with from me to you. It's something about like, so tell up and coming podcasters what is one thing that you love about podcasting, and tell people one thing about podcasting that you can definitely hone into, like a life skill about podcasting that you learned about your own self, like life wise.
Yeah.
So
I love podcasting because I get to connect with people. Like I said earlier, I was never really a big social media person. But I have a chance to meet people from all walks of life. And if you notice on my podcast, I don't just talk, I talk to all different kinds of people from all different walks of life, male, female, Black, white, London, wherever. It doesn't matter. And that for me is what I like about podcasting. That's what I love about it. And what was the second part?
What is one thing about podcasting that has actually helped you in your life, your real life?
So it's helped me to be patient in listening to people. So now, because of doing interviews, I have a set of questions that I want to ask, but I keep that list to like 4 or 5. So really, the majority of the questions are going to come from either my knowledge and research that I did before I interviewed you, or it's vibing off of you. So the skill that I've learned is to be patient and listen to people before I respond. So that's just been something I've been able to use. When I hear people talking, I'm really listening to what they're saying. I'm not formulating my response. I'm really listening. And then once I can understand, okay, that's what they meant, now I can start to formulate my response.
Definitely. Again, thank you. Not just for doing this podcast for me, but being a part of this journey that I'm on podcasting wise. You, like I said, you always help me out. You're a mentor of mine. So I very, very much appreciate you, and really thank you for even, giving me lessons and giving me advice and helping me out. So thank you for being confident. Again, thank you, son, for starting the sports podcast, and I wanted to finish it. Yeah. But we will definitely thank him. And thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And one last thing I'll say, first of all, shout out to the Eagles for that big win yesterday. Let me throw that out there. All right. The other thing I want to say is, yeah, you got to just keep going, man. Like you have a good ability to speak what's on your heart, right? And you don't worry about how it comes out, in the sense that it comes out, it makes sense, you get it out. But you've been able to streamline it to a podcast because people can ramble on, right? So you don't do that, but you've been able to streamline it down and put it into a podcast form. So you just have to keep going and just continue to grow and take a break when you need a break and just come back to doing it. I mean, we all need to put out 1,000 episodes, period. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I definitely
right. We all need to just put 1,000 episodes out. Just think of how much content that is. If you get that knock on the door and someone's like, "Hey, we want you to sign here or endorse this." Look how many episodes you didn't put out, how much content you have for them to look at. I always say that podcasting is not the end goal, but it is absolutely a step to something else. We don't know what it is yet. Maybe we do know what it is. You know, what will it be? I don't know, you know, but this is just a step to something else. Now, if we hit it big on this podcasting, well, then yeah, podcasting was the end game. Definitely. But more than likely, that's not going to happen. So we have to use the podcasting as a stepping stone to something else.
Definitely.
That's it.
Thank you again.
But keep going.
On here. Tell them one more time where they can find you, where they can go follow that Twitter, because I am definitely about to go follow that Twitter. Because that's
we did over there. Look, I posted something today. I responded to somebody's tweet today, and they've been crazy. I'm gonna see how many likes this young got, and this is like crazy for me. This young got 334 likes off of something crazy I said. I'm not gonna say it here. You gotta go over. You gotta follow me on Twitter.
I'm gonna go. I gotta see what post it.
32 retweets, 32 retweets, 25 quote tweets, and 334 likes, and it was something reckless too. So, it was so fun. I just have a lot of fun over there. But yeah, y'all can follow me at @LifeUnplugged_podcast on IG. And on Twitter, you can follow me at @LifeUnplugged_1. And the Life Unplugged podcast on YouTube. Follow that channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And, of course, click that notification bell. Make sure you get updated anytime we drop new content. Thank you, Brandon, for having me. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you for coming on here again. Thank you for being one of my mentors, and I really appreciate you, man, for coming on here, taking some time out your schedule. I know you tired as hell. I know you about to go to sleep.
Absolutely.
So thank you one more time, ladies and gentlemen. That's been the BrandonJaneauShow, and I am out. Peace.
Peace, man.